from Dede's World. Every week I share with you great tips for a healthier body, mind, and soul. And because I also currently live in Ghana, I'd like to share other things about what's going on in Ghana. So it might not be related to your soul or your body, but whenever I travel, I like to do a video about that just to show you guys our environment or my environment. A lot of Ghanaians who live here watching my video, and some of them may not know everywhere in Ghana and don't get the chance to travel as much as they would like to. So I like to always capture a little bit of that whenever I travel, just to show everyone that we have great places in Ghana as well, and it's nice to get out from time to time to just to experience and discover these new places. I also shared last week, for instance, I did a one-on-one talk with Stefania, who has a concept store in Accra, and she has lots of great brands made in Ghana, but also made in other parts of West Africa, and it's just amazing. So whenever you're in Accra and you're looking for something to buy, or you just want a window shop, it will be a great opportunity, and you find and discover new brands. So this week, I'm actually doing a video about something more for the soul, so food for thought and food for the soul, and it's an end of year review. When I say end of year review, basically on Wednesday, we will have 50 days left before end of the year. And I don't know about you guys, but that tends to freak me out. I'm like, oh my God, there's only 50 days left before end of the year. What have I done all year? Where am I? Have I reached all the goals that I wanted to reach? And I get that rush, wanting to put a lot of things in place to see if I can meet these end of year goals and so on. But I think we tend to focus a lot about work and physical appearance, like, oh, do I have the six-pack that I said I would have? Have I quit smoking and all of that, which is great. But we tend to forget the inside, our emotions, our relationship, and how we're doing internally. So yeah, I wanted to share how to do an end of year review. And so I have some tips down, and basically one is to write down your accomplishments and how you overcame them, and give yourself credit for it, because a lot of times we tend to look at the big accomplishments in our life. Maybe, for instance, for me, I quit my job and moved to Ghana. That was a big step, and I tend to forget that it's a huge step. I kind of brush it off my shoulder, like, okay, yeah, I moved to Ghana, but it's not a big deal. But yes, actually, when you think about it, it can be a big deal. You leave your comfort zone, and it doesn't matter how much you love traveling. Leaving a place that you call home for another, when you don't know how it's going to be, can be scary. And to do that, you need to give yourself credit. So I'm giving credit to myself for this. But then, so there's so many other things, big and smaller things, that we need to really go back into the year and think, what are the choices that I made that impacted my life positively, and kind of give yourself cheer yourself up for that, because you did well, and it's important to remember those. And then another one was, what have you learned, and how has that changed you? What have you learned? Because we tend to, when we're going through a situation, whether it's positive or negative, we're really going through it, and we almost never think back of it, like, how has that really impacted me? Whether it's bad relationship or a job or anything, everything that happened basically impacted you in a certain way, and has allowed you to change. And change is good, but sometimes we don't change naturally. We're kind of forced to change, and afterwards it's always positive. So we need to think about that, and how we overcame certain things, and how really it has changed us. Another one is, how do you feel, and how satisfied are you really with your life? And there's a quote that I read, I think a few years ago, and it said, are you really happy or just comfortable? And I like to push myself, and I think all of us should be doing a lot more of that. And I ask myself that question a lot. Am I really happy, or am I just comfortable? Whether it's in a relationship or a job, or anything. For instance, bringing it back to me, I came to a point in my life before I moved that I was just comfortable, but I wasn't really happy, and I didn't see my life like that anymore. I kind of felt bad that, oh God, in 5 years my life probably wouldn't have changed, and this is how it's going to end, and I'm not really happy about it, and I needed to make a change. And I think a lot of times we complain a lot about things we're not happy about, but we don't really do anything to change it, or we think we're doing something to change it, but then we don't really follow through, and we never have the change that we wanted. So I think it's important to really ask yourself in every aspect of your life, am I really happy? Am I happy with my weight? Am I happy with my health? Am I happy with the way I look? Am I happy with my job? Am I happy with my relationship? Whether it's family, friends, or intimate relationship. Are you happy with how things are going? And if not, what can you do to change it? And when I say what can you do to change it, we tend to project and always think that the other has to change, whether it's your job, your friends, or anything, or your relationship. We're always thinking, well, it's their fault. If they did this, then I wouldn't act this way, and then I would be a lot happier. But I think at this time, what I want us to focus about, what I tend to focus about, is introspection. What can you do to change about it? If it's the job, but what can you do to enjoy it more, to do it better, so that your boss or your colleagues are not so frustrated? What can you do to change? And I think once we do that, we tend to see that the other people in our lives, or the other aspects of our life, they change. And if they don't change, then it's time for you to move on. We, I think, too easily try to put the blame on others, or think that if things were different from the other side, then we would also feel different. But I think each time the question should maybe be more towards yourself. What can I do to change? So that was the third one. And I think the last one, which is really important, is how has this year gone, and how do I feel about it? How would you rate yourself? Because as I said, we have about 50 days left. So how has it gone for you? Are you happy with how things are going? Are you happy with yourself? And also, if you were to rate yourself, how many points would you give yourself, and why? And I think by answering these questions, these are broad questions, but there are sub-questions below it that you can find out yourself. And I think it's important to write it down. And I know I did a video about journaling, and at this time it's really important to actually go back. If you were journaling, it would be easier for you to just flip through and actually remember specific things and how you felt, because when you're thinking about it now, you're looking at it from a different angle. But if you can go back in time and you wrote it down, you can actually go back and see and read how you felt at that time, and be able to compare, do I still feel this way now? And if so, is that good or bad? But so I would encourage you again to start journaling if you haven't done so. And if you are, then also share some tips with us about how you end your year. How do you prepare for your end of year, and actually prepare for New Year? Because a lot of us, I think, tend to wait till 31st of December to start panicking, saying, oh my God, I don't know, this year, next year, 2016, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And really, after 3 weeks, we don't really do anything with it. So I think this is a great opportunity to start early, and before the end of the year, basically to start thinking about your life and what you did, but then also start planning for 2016. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And as I said, if you're journaling, or if you've ever done end of year reviews, personal development, or anything, and you have great tips that you want to share, feel free to leave it in the comment box below. And let's keep the conversation going on Facebook and Twitter. And I hope to see you next week. Bye.